There's no other game like Half-Life 2. Being the successor to the critically acclaimed Half-Life that was released in 1998, Half-Life 2 puts you right back into the shoes of Gordon Freeman, but now sent 20 years later where now an alien race known as the Combine have taken over. But you're not here for a complete breakdown of the Half-Life story. Skyrion already did that. Today though, I'm here to talk about the atmosphere of this game. I've played Half-Life 2 my whole life. I remember being around 3 or 4 years old playing this game while my dad slept on the couch, and recently I've been doing a full playthrough of the game to truly take in the full peak that is Half-Life 2. But playing through the game, I've noticed just how lonely this game feels sometimes. A few months back, I made a video about the lonely atmosphere of Grand Theft Auto 5, and that video did extremely well. It's the reason that I'm monetized right now. But the thing with that video is that it's not a good video even in the slightest. That and a lot of the hate that I did get for that video was because all I did was remove the NPCs, made it foggy, and called it a day. So today, I'm gonna do something else, and with a game that I love just as much if not more than GTA 5. But before we begin, may I ask you like, comment your favorite game that has a lonely atmosphere, and subscribe to keep me in the algorithm. And also, join my Discord server and follow me on Instagram. I'll link it down below. Alright, with the ad out of the way, let's dive right into the lonely atmosphere of Half-Life 2. Throughout the game, you're surrounded by either citizens, Combine, or aliens. But the sections where there's no one around are obviously pretty spooky, such as my favorite chapter of the game, We Don't Go to Ravenholm, where after the Combine attacked Black Mesa East, Gordon is forced to take a path through Ravenholm, an abandoned mining town that was overrun by zombies. Every now and then in this chapter, you'll get moments of silence that seem comforting compared to the sounds of zombies. But in these moments of silence, you can't help but at least feel like someone or something is watching you. But the thing is, the G-Man does not appear once in the Ravenholm chapter, even though that he appears in most of the sections of the rest of the game. There's a theory out there somewhere that Father Grigori doesn't actually exist, but is just Gordon making it up in order to not feel alone. What do I think of this theory? I think it's an interesting theory, but I feel like if it was in Gordon's head, it would be a lot more obvious to the player. I think that Grigori is actually a guardian angel, or was made or sent by the G-Man in order to aid Gordon in Ravenholm. I like the guardian angel theory much more, as it fits Grigori's character a lot more, seeing how he is a Christian man. But at the same time, he is just some guy who went mad over the death of his fellow townsfolk due to the head crabs. So I think it's more than likely that Grigori is just a regular dude. But I'm not going to fill this video with crazy psycho schizo theories, so let's move on away from Ravenholm. Highway 17 is another one of my favorite chapters. I really love the atmosphere of this section of the game, and the dried up beaches and fog just add so much to this chapter. Highway 17 is full of antlions and Combine soldier outposts, but the section where there's no one gives it that creepy feeling that all Source games have. But I'm pretty sure you've already heard that a million times, so I won't go too far into that just yet. I turned off NPCs and any triggers or events that would cause the road to be blocked just so that I could really intake the atmosphere and set design of Highway 17. That and I wanted some nice background footage with no interruption. All these houses on the coast used to house people before the Combine took over, and exploring these houses can only make you imagine what kind of long forgotten people and memories were left here. It's like exploring somewhere abandoned in real life. You see all the destroyed and decrepit locations, and you can't help but imagine what it was like before the place was abandoned. I think a lot of this lonely feeling derives from both Canopsia, which I talk about in a video from a while back. I believe it was my Forgotten Horror of Mortal Kombat video, which if you haven't seen that, go watch it after this one. As well as the fact that the Source engine is both a really old and nostalgic engine. Valve games have been around for a long time. Hell, some of them are older than me and probably a lot of people watching this video. The Source engine has this sort of charm to it in my eyes. It's certainly not perfect, but it's most definitely not a bad engine. Everyone likes to say how creepy and liminal this engine feels. And yes, I can agree that the engine has its creeps to it, but honestly, I find that charming in a strangely weird way. I think why people associate this engine with that creepy feeling is that a majority of Valve games take place in some fucked up timeline. Left 4 Dead takes place during a terrifying zombie outbreak and has a really gloomy aesthetic. Portal takes place in an abandoned facility with some messed up shit going on. Same with Portal 2, but it takes place thousands of years after the events of the first game. And Team Fortress 2, It has a French person in it, so that's really scary. That, and I'm gonna go a bit off script here. I think it's also because of the more recent like Gmod ARGs and liminal space stuff. I think that also adds a lot to why people are now looking at the Source engine as way more creepy. Now, I want to say that I'm talking about how the game feels lonely, not forcing it to be lonely like I did with my GTA Lonely Atmosphere video. That's why I had covered both Ravenholm and the coast levels at the start of this video, because for most other sections of the game, it's filled to the brim with non-stop action and the rather silly cast of colorful characters. So trying to find a section where you truly feel alone in this universe is a little difficult. But let's do what I told myself not to do earlier, by removing all NPCs, triggers, etc. Obviously, it's gonna feel off because there's no one around, and the same goes for literally every other game, like for example, a Call of Duty map not being filled with endless gunfire, or a Fortnite lobby with no players but yourself jumping out of the bus.
Why has nobody left the bus? Why has nobody left the bus?
Humans are social creatures, so being where there's no one is going to feel off, especially if it's somewhere that's supposed to be full of people. Half-Life 2 fills you with that existential dread that even though you're fighting for the better of humanity, it may not even be worth the fight, based on the fact that the Combine's power is beyond our own comprehension. So fighting back is basically worthless. And at some point, the Combine will completely drain the Earth of its resources and move on from it like a worn out toy. Now, if we're going to be talking about true loneliness in the Half-Life series, let's also talk about the setting of the Portal series, which is canonically in the same universe as Half-Life. In Portal, you take control of Shell, who wakes up in a facility completing basic tasks and courses with a portal gun while being observed, yet not a single soul could be found. It's even worse in Portal 2, because it's found out that Shell had been put into stasis for thousands of years. Then by the end, she's kicked out and given nothing but a companion cube, doomed to roam the possibly empty planet until she dies, which is honestly a seriously terrifying concept. If I were in this situation, I don't even think I'd want to live. I like to headcanon as well that the ending of Epistle 3, the Half-Life 2 Episode 3 story by Mark Laidlaw, one of the co-writers of Half-Life, actually has Gordon meet Shell and they go on to live together trying to survive after the world has ended. But that's just the dumbass in me talking, so screw him. The Half-Life series is definitely a goldmine for this lonely feeling, and there's definitely people out there who explore this concept a lot better than I have today. So, if you liked today's video and want to see more like this, then like, comment, and subscribe to keep me in the algorithm and join my Discord server and follow me on Instagram. And finally, I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are. Bye!